What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Let's dive right into our first news. Ilia was recently asked about JDM's performance against Islam after their fight at UFC Qatar, and he did not hold back at all. Ilia said he was genuinely disappointed, not only with Islam's showing, but even more with how JDM approached the moment. According to Ilia, JDM basically gave up early, offering almost no resistance and looking like he didn't even want to be in the fight. He explained that it was surprising to see a former champion step in with so little urgency, especially against someone like Islam, who always sticks to the same game plan. Ilia pointed out that Islam did exactly what he usually does. He controlled the pace, slowed everything down, and put on what Ilia called a boring fight. He mentioned that Islam never cares about the audience, and that this wasn't anything new. It was simply more of the same, and the result was predictable from the start. Ilia went on to say that the disappointment wasn't just about technique or strategy. For him, it was the lack of competitive fire from JDM that stood out the most. He expected a tougher challenge, a more aggressive approach, and at least some pushback. Instead, he felt JDM looked unwilling to engage, which made the entire fight feel flat. But Ilia didn't stop there. He took the opportunity to call out Islam once again, expressing full confidence that if they ever face each other, the outcome would be entirely different. Ilia said that Islam would be forced into a desperate situation, trying to grab a dominant position just to catch his breath. He believes Islam would struggle with his speed, timing, and explosiveness, and that the fight would expose weaknesses fans haven't seen yet. According to Ilia, he would be ready with more spark, more energy, and far more intention than what JDM showed. He promised that if the matchup happens, he would put Islam to sleep and finish the fight in a way that leaves no debate. Ilia is convinced that their styles would collide in a dramatic way, creating a completely different fight from what fans saw at UFC Qatar. And he believes he would walk away with the defining win. And before we continue, make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to support the channel. Moving on to another news. Arman sent a fierce warning to Ilia during an interview filmed while he was flying in his private jet. Arman didn't hold back for a second. He made it clear that if they ever meet inside the octagon, he plans to overwhelm Ilia with non-stop pressure and brutal ground and pound. Arman said he wants to smash Ilia's face with sharp elbows, cut him up badly, and secure a dominant TKO finish. He explained that his style, pace, and intensity would break Ilia down, leaving him no room to breathe or escape once the fight hits the mat. According to Arman, this wouldn't just be about winning. It would be about making a statement and showing everyone that he is levels above. He ended by saying that when the time comes, he'll make sure Ilia feels every second of that punishment till the referee steps in. Moving on to another news. Daniel Cormier shared his thoughts on the lightweight division, and he made it very clear who he believes are the two most dangerous fighters right now. DC said that Arman is easily the scariest matchup for Ilia, especially for anyone who supports Ilia and follows his rise. In his view, if Islam is now the welterweight champion and no longer part of the lightweight picture, then the two best lightweights in the world are Arman and Ilia, and he feels that isn't even a debate anymore. DC explained that Arman has the full package. He's big, he's physically strong, and he's an elite wrestler who can also strike at a high level. According to DC, Arman can do just about everything, and that versatility is exactly what makes him such a huge threat to Ilia. He pointed out that Arman's top control is one of the most dangerous aspects of his game. Once Arman gets a dominant position, he can hold opponents down, wear them out, and apply constant pressure that very few fighters can escape from. DC emphasized that this is the real issue for Ilia fans. It's not that Ilia isn't great, but that Arman's style is uniquely difficult for him. He said that if there is anyone in the division who can replicate some of the things Islam does, at least to a certain degree, it's Arman. His ability to mix wrestling, striking, strength, and grappling makes him the kind of opponent who can shut down momentum and force a different kind of fight. In DC's eyes, that combination is what makes Arman such a terrifying matchup for Ilia, and it's why their potential fight has become one of the most talked about possible matchups in the entire division. Moving on to another news. Arman went off on Paddy after seeing him jump all the way to number 5 in the lightweight rankings. Arman was on the Helwani show when he reacted to Paddy receiving such a high spot, and he made it clear that he thinks the ranking makes absolutely no sense. Arman said he doesn't believe Paddy has beaten anyone that justifies being ranked that high, especially when his best wins came against fighters sitting around number 12 and number 13, like Michael Chandler and King Green. Arman couldn't understand how beating those names suddenly pushes someone into the top 5, while he had to fight through a long list of top contenders to even break into the rankings. Arman reminded everyone that he had to beat multiple top fighters and go on a long win streak just to enter the top 15. He said that during his run he faced nothing but tough competition, and yet Paddy is rewarded with a massive jump after far less impressive opposition. Arman said it feels like the UFC is trying to manufacture a ranking to justify giving Paddy a big opportunity or even pushing him closer to a title shot. He explained that fans will laugh at this situation because it's obvious he's the real #1 contender, and he proved it again with his dominant performance over Hooker. Arman said he went out, performed, destroyed Hooker, and still sees Paddy getting bumped above fighters he hasn't earned his place over. He didn't stop there. Arman also called out Ilia for his inactivity, pointing out that Ilia hasn't fought since June. He believes the UFC is protecting Ilia and trying to build him up as a superstar instead of matching him against real threats like himself. Arman said Ilia needs to prove he's a true champion by accepting tough fights, not by waiting for easy matchups. According to Arman, Ilia cannot move up to 170 without defending his lightweight belt first. He insisted that a real champion has to prove himself before chasing bigger divisions. Arman finished by saying that Ilia is trying to look for the easiest path to defend the belt and then move up, but as long as he hasn't defended it, he cannot skip the line. Arman made it clear that he wants Ilia to accept his call-out, step into the cage, and show the world who the real champion is. Moving on to another news, Robert Whittaker shared his thoughts on Paddy Pimblett's rise and why he believes Paddy needs more experience before getting a title fight. He pointed out that none of this changes the fact that Arman's UFC resume is still far more stacked than Paddy's, which is a big reason why Whittaker feels Paddy has more work to do. Speaking on the MMA Arcade podcast, he explained that he'd like to see Paddy fight Max next, because those are the types of fights that truly push a contender toward the title. Whittaker said he wants to see Paddy get there, especially because his growth has been exponential. He highlighted Paddy's fight against Shane, where Paddy dismantled him with confidence and clarity. Even in the fight before that, Whittaker noticed a sharper focus and a determined mindset, showing Paddy is zeroing in on what he needs to do. In Whittaker's opinion, Paddy is one of the most exciting fighters in the division right now. A matchup between Paddy and Oliveira would be wild, and even a fight with Holloway would be huge. With so many options, Whittaker still believes the fight that has to happen is Arman versus Paddy, though he admits that Paddy versus Oliveira would be something special. Moving on to another news, Ilia recently spoke in an interview where he was asked who he wants next, and he didn't hesitate to mention Paddy. Ilia said he has Paddy on his mind, and that he would like to fight him if the UFC can't make the matchup with Islam happen. Ilia explained that if the UFC refuses to let him move up to welterweight to face Islam, then he still wants that fight, but at a different weight. He talked about the idea of fighting Islam in a third weight category, saying he'd be ready for a catchweight bout at 160 if that's what it takes. Ilia added that there's a date in the summer when the UFC plans to move him up to welterweight, and if that plays out, he wants to fight for a third belt and make history. He also suggested that the UFC could create a special pound-for-pound title at catchweight, giving him another way to face Islam without affecting the welterweight division. For Ilia, the options are open. He said he'll fight for the pound-for-pound belt if they make it, he'll move up if they allow it, and he'll take on Paddy if the Islam fight falls through. He ended by saying there are plenty of possibilities, and now it's just a matter of seeing what the future brings. Moving on to another news, a short clip began circulating online, and it didn't take long for Arman to respond. Reacting on X, Arman wrote, "Could it be any more obvious that El Pato is doing everything in his power to avoid fighting me?" His message was direct, calling out Ilia for what he believes is clear avoidance. Arman has been vocal for months about wanting that matchup, and this post added even more fire to the ongoing rivalry. He made it clear that, in his eyes, Ilia keeps looking for any path that doesn't involve stepping into the cage with him, and Arman isn't staying quiet about it. Moving on to another news, Arman revealed a huge mistake he made before his fight with Dan Hooker at UFC Qatar. During their face-off, Arman headbutted Dan, and he admitted it was entirely his fault. He explained that in the first 5 to 10 seconds of those intense stare-downs, he struggles to fully control himself, and that moment got the better of him. Arman called it a big mistake and said he shouldn't have done it, acknowledging how dangerous it could have been. Arman also praised Dan for his professionalism and composure, saying he was surprised at how calm Dan stayed despite the incident. He pointed out that Dan could have easily backed out of the fight, taken his show money, and prepared for the next opportunity, but instead, he didn't let it affect him. Arman said that shows real courage and balls, and he really appreciates Dan's mindset and maturity in handling the situation. He admitted that the moment was reckless on his part, but emphasized that it also gave him even more respect for Dan Hooker as a fighter and as a man in high-pressure situations. Moving on to another news. A new clip stirred up the MMA world after Rizwan Idil Sultanov posted the original footage showing how things unfolded between Jon Jones and Khamzat. Jones was clearly not thrilled with how the exchange played out. According to the post, when Alfredo Auditor stepped in and offered to put money on the table for an official match, Jones accepted instantly, hinting that a real grappling showdown between Jones and Khamzat might actually be on the way. The post explained that Khamzat and Jones tested each other's skills, and Khamzat slightly got the better of him. Jones refused to accept the moment, loudly shouting, "No, no," as the exchange continued. That's when Alfredo made his offer, and without hesitation, Jones agreed, leaving fans wondering if a formal match is now inevitable. The clip also highlighted Jones's recent visit to Chechnya, where he was treated like a full superstar. The energy around him was wild as people greeted him with excitement. At one point, Jones was shown checking out the cars, sharing laughs, and enjoying the hospitality, saying things like, "It's Chechnya Republic," while locals hyped up the moment. There was even a playful exchange where someone mentioned a contract, and Jones joked back, saying it wasn't signed yet and they were just pretending. The entire visit had a larger-than-life feel, and now, with tension building around a potential matchup with Khamzat, the anticipation is only growing. Moving on to another news, the MMA world was buzzing after a wave of rumors began circulating about a potential UFC 324 matchup between Alex Pereira and Carlos Ulberg. The talk started when Timothy Wheaton from Low Kick MMA, along with Diazien, shared a post on social media saying he was hearing rumors that the UFC was aiming to book Pereira versus Ulberg for January 24th at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas for the Paramount card. Even in his original post, he clearly stated that nothing was confirmed and that he had only heard early whispers. But once the rumor hit the timeline, the MMA community exploded with mixed reactions. Some fans were excited, others were confused, and many were shocked that Pereira might take a fight like this on relatively short notice. The rumor grew so fast that Ariel Helwani had to step in and address the situation directly on his show. Ariel said he had seen multiple posts claiming Alex Pereira versus Carlos Ulberg was happening on the January 24th Paramount Plus event. He explained that he personally checked in with several key people connected to the situation, and every source told him the same thing. The rumor was simply not true. Ariel said that, as of now, the UFC's hope is still tied to the White House card, specifically the potential blockbuster matchup between Alex Pereira and Jon Jones. According to him, there have been no discussions whatsoever regarding Pereira fighting Ulberg, and nothing about that matchup has been on the table. Ariel also gave updates on other fights being discussed behind the scenes. He mentioned again that Kayla Harrison versus Amanda Nunes is being talked about and could be one of the major fights featured on the card. However, he added that Ilia versus Paddy is not being discussed at this time, despite earlier speculation and fan excitement surrounding the matchup. Ariel clarified that his stance changed after checking in with his sources throughout Saturday night and again the following day after his show. He emphasized that anything can change at any moment because the UFC can call fighters at any time and shift direction. But as of his latest conversations, there has been no movement toward Pereira versus Ulberg, and the organization's priority still seems focused on securing Pereira versus Jon Jones for the historic White House event. Ariel ended by saying that he would keep monitoring the situation, but for now, the rumor holds no truth. That's it from MMA Pulse News. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for your daily dose of MMA news.